Hello, this problem is a simultaneous equation problem. It's just one of those skills you kind of need to know how to do. It's kind of a challenge problem based on z-scores and standard deviations and that whole z-score, like how to calculate a z-score formula. So think of this as a little bit of a challenge problem. It's just something I made up and contrived, but I've seen this kind of thing on AP problems, and I've seen it on quizzes and things in the past. So it's just kind of a skill you need to know how to do, but it just all comes from the basic z-score formula. So here's the idea. So someone says to you, we got the ages of students in intro to stats, and they give you a couple clues. They say 5% of the students are older than 19.76 years, but 10% of the students are younger than 18.3 years. So your job is to figure out what is the mean and the standard deviation of the age of students in my intro to stats class. So why don't you pause the video, try the problem, and use the z-score formula like we normally would do. And then the other clue I'll give you is you have to do simultaneous equations. So give it a try, pause the video, and then you can start up again to get the solution. Okay, so here's what I would do to solve this. First, I would kind of think this through and just say, what do I have? I have 5% in the upper tail that's bigger than 19.76. I also have 10% that's below 18.3. The mean on this curve and the mean on this curve are the same, and so are the standard deviations. It's the same model, it's the same curve. So these are the same. So how does that help me? Well, if I can figure out the z-score of this and the z-score of this, I should be able to put them together into simultaneous equations. And here's what that looks like. So first, I need to find the z-score for 95% because if there's 5% on the top, that means there's 95% on the bottom. So that's a 1.645. That's one of those z-scores you're supposed to memorize. So that's a z-score of 1.645. I put that in to my z-score equation. 19.76 is my value. I don't know the mean and standard deviation. That's what I'm looking for, but I know my z-score is 1.645. Do the same thing with 10%. So there's 10% of the data values are less than 18.3. So you'll get a z-score of 1.28. That's another common one, but not as much as 1.645. So put the numbers in, 18.3 for your cutoff. I don't know the mean and standard deviation, but I do know my z-score is a negative 1.28. So I plug that in. So now you got two equations with two unknowns. You can use your algebra skills and solve that system of equations. You can do substitution. You could use the function on your calculator. You could do elimination probably if you wanted to. There's many ways. But when you solve that system, you should end up with the mean being 18.94 and the standard deviation being 0.5 years. Okay, that is an interesting challenge skill.